Anthony Richardson, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is AJ Brown, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is Josh Allen, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
Yes, RosterWatch Nation. Welcome back to another episode of Watching Rosters. It's Sunday morning. It's 9:30 a.m. It's another start time, another day, another weekend, another week of games, another great slate with no bye weeks. We're here in the middle of the season, the middle of the NFL season, where your rosters are now, 4-3, 5-2, 2-5, what have you. This is a big week. Like I said, no buys. Your team should be 100% unless there's injuries. If there's injuries, that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you walk through those roster decisions. Watching rosters from RosterWatch.com. I am Cody Carpentier. You can see right there on the bottom of the screen. And I'm here today for, we'll see, 30, 45, an hour. We'll see how long you guys want to chat for. And we'll get those start-sit questions talked about. We'll get those trade offers discussed. And I'll let you know our underdog cheat sheet picks of the week, because we did not have a Sunday slate underdog cheat sheet show for the week. In this season, we are hitting at a 59.5% win rate right now. Personally, 68.5% over here. We're 61-42. We got 16 more picks up on the slate today. I'll talk about them as we get through the show. You can also see that up at rosterwatch.com for free right now. We haven't even put that, in the pro section, the premium section. It's just free. You can just go to rosterwatch.com and you can get the whole list of every pick that we have going into week 8. So I appreciate y'all tapping in. Make sure you click that like button. Make sure you click subscribe if you are here this morning. I appreciate you and I love you. Let's get going. Good morning to Miles Young. I appreciate you. Let's get this thing going. John in Cedar Park, the OG of all OGs in the Roster Watch neighborhood. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you tapping in. He says, good morning. 2 questions. Non-PPR. Are we going Mooney or Olave? Well, my dog just walked in right as you said that. Mooney or Olave? Mooney or Olave. Second question, PPR. If Jaden Daniels plays, do I use McLaurin or Waddle? So I'm very skeptical about this whole Jaden Daniels thing. I'll be straight honest with y'all. We understand who Jaden Daniels is. We understand his body type. We understand all these things that come around this. This is a mega matchup this week against the Chicago Bears. As far as the wide receiver matchup tool goes, McLaurin is facing the third toughest defense. Again, he's going to be lined up predominantly with Jalen Johnson. He's going to have Jaquan Brisker over the top. This is a very good defensive backfield for the Chicago Bears. So I'm worried about that a little bit. As far as being worried about Jaden Daniels, I can't say I am. If he plays, he's a top 7 option. But again, like against quarterbacks, Chicago's really good against quarterbacks. So I'm more nervous than anything about the Washington quarterback situation. We actually, to be quite transparent about it, we actually took the Chicago Bears in the Circa Millions this year. We're 21-14 on the season in the Circa Millions, hitting at a 60% win right there. So we're 60% on Underdog. We're 60% in the Circa Millions. We actually took the Bears in that game to cover on the road against the Washington Commanders, 2.5 points. So as far as that goes, McLaurin versus Jalen Waddle, I lean more towards Waddle because we know Tua's back. And I think it's close, but it's a good matchup for Jalen Waddle. And Jalen Waddle really hasn't done much of anything this year. He's been averaging 5 targets per game, 3.5 receptions, 3.6 receptions, whatever it has. This is a get-right game for Miami. Both quarterbacks, we're talking about sticky situations, right? Jaden Daniels, potential active, but maybe he's QB2 behind Mariota, or active and he starts, and then does he play the full game? That's what I'm most worried about. I'm most worried when these rookies face an injury and they're rushed back too soon, especially at the quarterback position, because I hate that, especially for Jaden Daniels. So in this situation, I'm going Waddle over McLaurin. And then you asked, the first question was Mooney or Olave. Jonathan Mooney's got a top 10 matchup this week against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We all consensus have him as a top 30 play. Olave, on the other hand, the model hates Chris Olave this week against the Chargers. Trash Man Alex and I all have him as a top 30 play as well. These guys are literally back-to-back, and the big differentiator here is the model. And the model, of course, takes in the RosterWatch matchup tool, which has Mooney's a top 10 play and Olave's a bottom 4 play against the opposing defense. As far as targets go, earned and receptions, Mooney's averaging 7.5 on the season. Olave's averaging 4.8 on the season. Not something I expected to be saying, but we did see Mooney go hard against Tampa the last time around on Thursday Night Football. I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen, but I do lean Mooney, especially in half or in your case, non-PPR. So I'm going to go Mooney here and Waddle. John, I appreciate you always tapping in, the OG of Roster Watch Nation. Big Meech, half PPR, pick one, Waddle or Bigsby. I think at this point, I just talked about how much I like Waddle, but the Bigsby thing, until proven otherwise with ETN, which I don't foresee happening now that I say this out loud, it's going to happen, but I don't foresee this happening in the near future, is ETN getting to 100% and Bigsby relinquishing this thing. The big thing with Bigsby is he hasn't been able to get traction on this opportunity, and he's finally done it. He's finally gotten traction on taking over a bigger and bigger and bigger role. And ETN's kind of, seeping back into the back seat of this situation. The team's not good, so you could totally see them letting ETN rest up a little bit if they lose, especially if they lose this game going forward. So I'm going to go Bigsby here over Waddle in half. If it was full, I think I might go Waddle, but we're going Bigsby over Waddle here in half. Kip, see what's going on, brother. Big Sunday. Let's roll, fellas. Morning to Cody and the crew. Appreciate you. Also, no, if you don't want to sit around and wait for me, two things you can do if you don't want to sit around and wait for me to get, because I'm going to get through top to bottom of this list. We're already 5 minutes behind as far as the ticker goes. If you don't want to wait for me, you can either super chat and I'll see it. It'll pop up first and I'll bring it up on the screen first. Or you can go over to RosterWatch.com. You can drop a comment on the start sit thread. The problem is you got to be a pro or premium member to comment on that. So you got to go tap in over there. Otherwise, you just got to hold tight and I'll get through all of these. But we appreciate y'all, including Kip C, another legend of Roster Watch Nation. The real ones are coming out this morning. Appreciate you guys. All right. Miles Young says, should I start Jordan Mason or Alvin Kamara? Jordan Mason or Alvin Kamara? Funny thing, back to back in the Roster Watch rankings this week. The most bullish take among these two guys belongs to Trashman. He has Jordan Mason as the running back 5 this week. I got him at 13. Alex has him at 8. The model has him at 10. The model loves Kamara, and that is the big differentiator here. I think it's consensus we have Mason ahead of Kamara, but the model tilts it the other direction because the model has Kamara number 1. It's a bottom 3 matchup for Kamara. It's a top 3 matchup for Jordan Mason. I think it's a bit of a toss-up here, Miles. I think you're going to be good in either situation. I guess I would say I'm a little afraid from both perspectives. One, I think Kendre Miller continues to get a little bit of work here. I don't know what that looks like. A little bit of work. And for Jordan Mason, I'm interested on the health. For those reasons, I think I just take Kamara knowing the floor. And I know the floor last week wasn't great, but I think in a game against the Chargers, a very competitive game for these two teams. I think they're more equally matched than anything, even with a banged up Saints team. I'm going to go Alvin Kamara. Miles, appreciate you. Big Meech, Kamara or McLaurin? This is different. This is a little different. I would go McLaurin here. I have less worry, I guess. I shouldn't say it that way. I have less variables that can change. Where, like, I know if Daniels goes down, I still think Mariota can get him the football. So I feel good about that. So I'll go McLaurin here over Kamara. Derek says, happy Sunday. I need to start one out of Waddle, Dobbs, Dell, or Ladd. Thanks, Cody. Appreciate you, Derek. So we got our boy Waddle. Waddle's been in here a lot already this morning. So we got Waddle, like we talked about just a minute ago. Dobbs. So Waddle's at 27. Dobbs is at 30. We got Dell at 23, and we got Ladd at 32. So technically the highest ranked player here. You need to you're starting one. For us, you're starting Tank Dizzy today against the Indianapolis Colts. He is our 23rd ranked wide receiver on the day, averaging 5.6 targets per game. His expected fantasy points today is 9.5. It puts him in a good place. He's right between Devonta Smith and Amari Cooper for us. So I like Tank Dell. I think I honestly was hoping Dobbs was going to be the highest ranked. He's got a great matchup today against Jacksonville. Speaking of Dobbs, I told you guys we were going to give you some underdog picks. The whole sheet, like I said, you can go over to RosterWatch.com today. You can find that whole thing, the whole list of all these picks. Otherwise, I could bore you and I could list all 16 out right now if that's really what you want. But first, in order to do that, you got to go to underdogfantasy.com today. Use it, sign up, 50% deposit bonus at sign up, up to $250 using that promo code ROSTER or RosterWatch. And you can hit the QR code right there on the right side of the screen. So the prop today for Romeo Doubs is 49.5 receiving yards. 49.5 receiving yards. That's one of my favorite 6 on the day. My other favorites are Dustin Hopkins, the kicker for the Browns, is 6.5 kicking points. I think I have that backwards. His is 5.5 kicking points. Austin Siebert's is 6.5 kicking points. He's the kicker for the Commanders. I like both of those today for kicks. Also for the Jets, I got Braylon Allen. Braylon Allen's been outtouched 41-7 since Todd Downing took over in New York. But the problem is they're playing the New England Patriots today, who are bottom 10 run defense in the NFL right now. 24.5 rush plus receiving yards for Braylon Allen. Other two are Cade Otton, 4.5 receptions, and Jackson Smith and Jigba, 5.5 receptions. So those are my favorite 6 on the day. I'll talk to you about Trashmans and Alex as we get to them. Appreciate y'all tapping in this morning. All right, back to the questions. Derek, appreciate you. Corey Jr. says, yo, I need 3 of 4. He's got Amari Cooper, Romeo Doubs, Deebo Samuel, Malik Neighbors. Well, I got bad news for you. You're not benching Malik Neighbors, so you could have just taken his name right on out of there. All right, so we got Amari Cooper, who we currently have sitting at wide receiver 24. Doubs, like we said before, he's right at 30. And then Deebo. Deebo, huh? What are we going to do with Deebo? Anybody got any ideas what we should do with Deebo? Deebo's very interesting. He's always been very interesting to me. He blocked me 2 years ago for no reason. I never tweeted about him once. What was the reports this week, the practice report? Let me pull this up. Dude, I feel like every time I have a question or a thought about Deebo, I got to pull up a damn practice report and just make sure. I think he got out of the hospital and he was back and he practiced on Thursday. Yep, limited on Thursday, limited on Friday. He's going to be fine. He's going to play. We currently have him ranked the highest. That's the reason I pulled that up, is because we currently have him ranked the highest. But I'm going to be honest with you. I feel much better about Cooper, Doubs, and Neighbors than I do about like a Cooper, Neighbors, and Deebo, and leaving Doubs off. So I'm going to tell you to not play Deebo today. But I think that's a bad. As I put that out of my mouth, I realized it's Dallas. My gut's telling me, Corey, and I know you always tap in, so I think you'll understand this. My gut is telling me not to fade Deebo because of this Dallas thing, and more so to just go against Amari Cooper, even though the rankings don't say that. My gut's telling me to go against Amari Cooper. Start Doubs, start Samuel, and, of course, play Neighbors. And then bench Amari Cooper against Seattle today, in Seattle on the road against these long, lengthy cornerbacks and Tariq Woolen and the DBs. I think I like that much better. Appreciate you, Corey, for tapping in this morning. Jan Saiki, Taysom or Andrews? Taysom or Andrews is the question. Wow, that's again, these Taysom ones are always get me. It's like, hey man, do I really gotta compare? No. I'm going to go Andrews today. Andrews, I have a tight end 12 today. It's a tough matchup against Cleveland, but it is a divisional game. And if you do look at Mark Andrews' last 3 games, he's really started to pick up the flow, and I think that's going to continue on an upward trajectory for him. 4 for 55, 3 for 66, 4 for 41. He scored 3 touchdowns in those 3 games. I think we're starting to get that Mark Andrews back. I don't know why it took him so long to kind of get back into the flow of things, but I'm team Mark Andrews rest of season. So I'm going to go Andrews here. Jan, appreciate you jumping on in. Andy Sue, need 2 wide receivers in a PPR. Deebo, Pickens, or Adams. Need 1 tight end in PPR. Otton or Ferguson. Thanks. Appreciate you, Andy. Otton or Ferguson. Otton and Ferguson both have 18 and 19th ranked matchups right now in the RosterWatch matchup tool. We have them closely ranked, but it's consensus amongst us that Cade Otton is ahead of Ferguson. Like I said a minute ago, that underdog pick was K'd out in 4.5 receptions higher. Trashman also has K'd out and higher than 44.5 receiving yards. You can't obviously play those together, but you can mix and match of these 16 picks over on rosterwatch.com. And that's what I do. I take all 16 of our picks, I plug them into ChatGPT, and I say, give me 10 random combinations of 3, and I just do them all. I just plug them all into Underdog, and that's just how I roll every single Sunday. I take away the decision making. I know there's 16 plays out there. They're all 16 good plays. We're hitting at a 60% clip this year. I just take them, plug them into ChatGPT. I say, give me 10 random groups of 3, plug them in, and automatic cash flows into my bank account. It's that easy. It's kind of crazy. All right. Second part of that question. You said Otten or Ferguson. I said Otten. The first part was need 2 wide receivers, Debo, Pickens, or Adams. Debo, Pickens, or Adams. So Adams, I'm going to be interested to see how New England handles Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams today. As far as our rankings go, which is weird because nobody has the same ranking here, but we all have Adams and Wilson back to back here at wide receiver 14 and 15, like bang, back to back. Not even close. And then Pickens comes in at wide receiver 13, one spot ahead of these guys. And then the third guy you mentioned was, of course, Debo, who comes in a couple spots below. So we're going to go Pickens and Adams today as your wide receivers. Andy, appreciate you. And then, of course, Cade Otton, the number 1 receiving option in Tampa right now, as crazy as that sounds. Miles Young, appreciate you tapping in here. Should I start Kamara, Jordan Mason, Terry, or Debo? Didn't you just ask something like that? I guess that was maybe you're combining your last 2. No, you're just combining that one. So Mason or Kamara, and then also adding in Terry and Debo. Interesting. All right, so Kamara, Jordan Mason, Terry, Debo. So I said Kamara before. Terry versus Debo. Feel better about we have Debo ranked higher. He got Dallas, so it's Debo versus Kamara for me. I should have let's see here, 14.6. Debo showing here, 10.9. And then what about Kamara? 17.4. If this is PPR, I think I'm just going to go ahead and roll with Kamara. I think I'm going to roll with Kamara here, Miles. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Good question. Caught me off guard because it's like similar to the last one. All right. Super chat. Appreciate you tapping in here. Ryan Allen, thank you for tapping in. He says, pick 1, half PPR. Ramondre. I like this version of Ramondre. Ramondre. It sounds way better. Ramondre, we currently have ranked 28th overall. He's also got Bucky Irving on this list. Bucky Irving, unless I missed something, I was out of the town last night. Unless I missed something about Bucky playing, I thought Bucky was going to be inactive in this one. DNP got limited in on Friday. I do not feel good about Bucky, so I'm going to go ahead and X Bucky off of there. I think him missing multiple practices and being limited this week with a toe. It's a toe. It's not great. Toes are something we saw Curtis Samuel struggle with all of training camp for Buffalo. Why he hasn't gotten off to any type of a start for Buffalo. He was actually supposed to be their wide receiver 1 going into the season, which is coming out of training camp. Like that's how they treated him. Kirk struggled with the toe. We've had multiple players that struggle with toes. So I don't know if they're going to press Bucky much here. And even if they do, I would hate to see him go out with another toe injury in this game. But I'm going to fade off Bucky there. So we're picking between Ramondre and Olave. Like I said, don't love the Ramondre stuff. He's number 28 right now in our running back rankings. Olave also, though, wide receiver 29. The problem, like I said, we love Olave. So I don't take this wide receiver 29 ranking like full-fledged because Alex has him 23rd. I have him 21. Trashman has him 27. He should be up in this Tank Dell range. He should be up by 23, 24, but the model hates him because of the matchup against the Chargers. But I, in your situation, love Chris Olave here over Ramondre playing the Jets, tough defense, and Bucky being banged up. I love me some Chris Olave here today. Ryan, I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate the question, as always. Devin Richardson, looks like you dropped the super chat, but there's no question attached to it. If you want to go ahead and drop that question below, I will jump back in this. I'm going to scroll up and answer a couple questions. Then I'm going to come back down and see if you drop the question that you want to attach to the super chat. Oh, there it is. It popped up right now as I was talking. I was trying to buy you time. I buy you some time. All right. Devin says pick 2 full PPR: Pollard, White, Mooney, Ridley, McMillan. All right. So we got Mooney, Ridley. Mooney, we just talked about. We like Mooney today. Mooney up at 26. We got Ridley. Ridley's pretty much a full-blown fade for me. I don't want to touch anything in Tennessee right now. And then you said McMillan. McMillan's up at 45 for us. We like McMillan, but we think that Otten's going to have a better day. We think White's going to be a focal point of this offense. We also like Sterling Shepard and Trey Palmer to get plenty of work. So McMillan's not as slam dunk of a play as many might expect. I'm not sure. I believe he's just going to come in and, command 8 targets and go for 100 yards like some do. So I'm going to axe out Ridley and McMillan here. The other part of this question is Pollard and White. So I have Mooney, and then you have Pollard and White for me. So Pollard for us is the number 20 overall running back. White is the number 26 overall running back. Both have bottom 7 matchups right now on the RosterWatch matchup tool, but we're pretty consensus having Pollard ahead playing against the Detroit Lions. We think that Tennessee, we actually are pretty bullish on the Detroit Lions today as well. When you look at the Circa Millions contest that we did and the picks we put in, we talked about the Bears a minute ago, but we also put in the Lions covering 11.5 points against Detroit. And what that does, especially with Tyjae Spears being out today, is I think it allows for Tony Pollard to get some of that garbage time receiving work and garbage time straight up work. So I'm going to go ahead and ride with Tony Pollard and Darnell Mooney today and sit on the sideline with Rachaad White, and I have a little hesitance about it, but I think I'm going to go ahead and sit on the sideline with Rachaad White, and we're going to play Pollard and Mooney. Appreciate you, Devin Richardson, for dropping the super chat. Now I got to go back up to where I left off here, make sure I didn't miss nobody. We got a good chunk of people in here. We appreciate y'all tapping in this morning. Please click that like button. Please click subscribe and stay tuned in all morning. All right. Looks like we're about 20 total minutes behind. So like I said, we're going to keep on going. We're going to keep on cooking. We're going to get this thing done. We're about 22 minutes deep. We'll probably go for another 20 if I don't get all this done, maybe a little bit longer. All right. Big Meech, half PPR, pick 1. He says Higgins, Bigsby, or Marvin Harrison Jr. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is due in this situation. This is a game I'm very interested to see how Arizona kind of bounces back and how, kind of reacts to Miami. Arizona got that win last week against the Chargers, and Arizona's been one of the tougher teams to kind of predict what was going to happen the given week. You go all the way back to week 1. It's a big game against the Buffalo Bills. They got to a high-scoring, close game. Next week, they get blown out. Then they got Detroit, close loss. Washington, blowout loss. San Francisco, tight win. Green Bay, blowout loss. Chargers, tight win. Is this going to be a blowout loss, a blowout win? What's it going to be? I don't know. I can never tell really what Arizona is going to bring to the table because they're just such a bipolar team this year of 2024. So I'm going to go Arizona here with Marvin Harrison Jr. over Bigsby and Higgins. I think we're looking for finally a Marvin game here. Appreciate you, Big Meech. Dynasty Dumpster Fire says sit 1 in PPR, Swift, JT, or Brian Thomas Jr. Gosh, man, you got a situation to deal with here. Jonathan Taylor's got a tough matchup, but I do know one person that likes Jonathan Taylor today, and his name is Trashman. He likes the 76.5 rushing plus receiving yards for Jonathan Taylor over on Underdog Fantasy. He also likes in that game Alec Pierce, higher than 25.5 receiving yards. Some of the other Trashman's other picks, we talked about Cade Otton. He likes Rachaad White over 64.5 rushing plus receiving. Saquon Barkley over 100 rushing plus receiving. And Joseph Burrow lower than 262.5 passing yards. You can get, like I said, all 16 of those over at rosterwatch.com. I just wanted to weave that one in there with Jonathan Taylor being on the question. Swift, Jonathan Taylor, and Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. is in line right now. I think where my mind would go here initially is, well, I have to play Swift off the bye, and Taylor's healthy, so I have to play Taylor because the rule is if he plays, we play, right? If he's in the game, we're playing him in our game because we just have to. If the NFL trusts him to bring him back off of an ankle, we're playing him. It's just point blank period that easy, but it is a tougher matchup here against the Houston Texans. The question I have is Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. we have as a top 24 play this week, and the guy is just getting targeted. And that's the big thing. There's nobody really in Jacksonville competing with Brian Thomas Jr. So 6.5 targets a game, 4.5 receptions a game, and he's going pretty nuclear. He's averaging 30% of the air yards here, and they're pushing the ball downfield every single week. The problem is I do respect the Green Bay back end. Do I respect it enough? Maybe not. But I do think you still have to play Brian Thomas today. With that being said, that means you have to bench one of these running backs. Do you bench Swift or do you bench Jonathan Taylor? Swift is a top 12 matchup today against the Washington Commanders, coming off of a bye. I think the biggest question I have for Chicago and for DeAndre Swift himself is the nuisance of the backfield, the nuisance of Roschon Johnson, the nuisance of Caleb Williams running the football. The last time we saw these guys against the Jacksonville Jaguars, Swift had 17 carries for 91 yards and a touchdown. He coupled it in with 4 receptions for 28 yards. Are we going to see that again? Because the week before that against the Panthers, we saw Swift go 21 for 73 and have a touchdown, and then couple it in with 2 receptions for 47 yards. It's a very tough world here to bench DeAndre Swift. It's a good matchup against a Washington team that they can get on top of and they can run the football against. It's not a great defense. It's a respectable defense, but it's not a great defense. The problem with Jonathan Taylor is he's going to go to Houston with a pissed-off Houston defense that needs to get right. I'm not sure how comfortable I feel about that situation for our guy, Jonathan Taylor. You go back to week 1 when the game was in Indianapolis. The Houston Texans won 29-17. They were up 29-20 with 3 minutes left in the game before the Colts scored a garbage time touchdown. Richardson led the game in rushing yards for the Colts, 56 yards, and they're good on 6 carries. Jonathan Taylor averaged 3 per carry, 48 yards and a touchdown. I just can't talk myself into it. I've been trying for the last 4 minutes. You've seen that. I can't talk myself into Jonathan Taylor. So I think you have to go with Swift and Brian Thomas Jr. today. Dynasty Dumpster Fire. Appreciate you. Derek, Jaden Daniels or Kyler Murray. Don't know if the ribs are going to limit Jaden's rushing attempts. I don't feel good about the Jaden Daniels thing. I would, if I get beat by Jaden Daniels today, I'm not going to be upset with having Kyler Murray in my lineup. Kyler Murray has been giving you plenty of rushing output on a weekly basis to justify not playing Jaden Daniels. I think that's the big thing here. Kyler Murray is currently averaging 46 yards per carry. 46 yards per game. Sorry, not per carry, which is 3rd in the NFL right now, just 7 yards behind Jaden Daniels. So you get a healthy Jaden Daniels, a healthy Kyler Murray. I'm messing up my words now. A healthy Kyler Murray, or you just bet on a banged up Jaden Daniels. Who gave you 5 points last week in your starting lineup because he got hurt. They both have horrible matchups. Miami's the toughest matchup against quarterbacks. Chicago's the 2nd toughest matchup against quarterbacks. I think you just ride with Kyler. You know that this thing could go south for both quarterbacks, and you know that Jaden Daniels has the talent to go for 30 against the Chicago Bears, but you just have to accept that you don't want to deal with a 5 or him getting, pulled from the game because he's hurt. I just don't want to deal with that today. So for that, I'm riding with Kyler Murray. I think that's pretty straightforward. Derek, appreciate you. Big Meech, half PPR, Dobbs or Olave. I like me some Dobbs. I got to do some rapid fire here. We got to get caught up. We're way the hell behind. We got a million questions in the queue. Zay Flowers, ankle sprain, Dontavian Wicks, or DeAndre Hopkins today, full PPR. See, these are the real questions. These are the real ones that are actually tough to figure out, because Zay is the slam dunk easy pick of the week, right? But you got this ankle sprain, and you got this Baltimore offense that can win in so many different ways that you could potentially see them just straight up not even targeting him on the day. And they don't need to. They don't have to. They have Andrews. They have Bateman. They have Henry. They can just do 30 different things to win this football game that don't include utilizing Zay Flowers. I definitely feel like Hopkins is due for like a couple red zone targets. I'm not sure I'm fully ready to vault him up into like the top 36 by any means. But I do love the situation he's got in Kansas City. I don't know if this is a thing. Like, I know Hopkins is smart and he can pick up a playbook and stuff, but you got to realize Juju Smith-Schuster on that short week went for 100 yards because he'd been in this offense. He knows the offense. He's been in the offense. He had a connection established already. And Hopkins is going to do this with a couple days of practice. I'm not sure how easy. And you got to also remember Hopkins isn't exactly 100%. So I'm going to fade off of Hopkins this week. I want to see 1 week. I want to get him 1 week acclimated in the offense before I go out here and play Hopkins. But I do like that you have him on the roster. So for me, it's between Zay Flowers and Dontavian Wicks. I'll be honest with you. I kind of believe in Dontavian Wicks. And that's more so saying I believe in this Green Bay passing offense to score 30 points, to see Love go north of like that 260, 280 range and get the ball dispersed out to a number of these guys. And I do believe that that does count in Wicks. The problem is you're talking about Zay Flowers. Zay can go off, but Zay's banged up. I think we talked ourselves into this where you see how Baltimore can and has won without using Zay. And I'm not sure they're going to need to use Zay today in this game against the Cleveland Browns. So I'm going to go ahead and play Dontavian Wicks here, Fresco, 1545. That wasn't exactly rapid fire, but it was close. Findy, pick 2. Jonathan Taylor, Jalen Waddle, McLaurin, or Devontae Adams. I'm going to go Devontae Adams and Waddle today. Devontae Adams and Waddle today, Findy. Appreciate you. Big Meech, what's going on, brother? Smash those like buttons. Smash that subscribe button. Let's effing go. Kip C, I have an offer sent to me in PPR. My Tank Dell for Justice Hill. Accept or try for someone else next week. Goodson, Kendre is my running back 4, and Mooney, Sutton, and Watson and Kirk are my wide receivers 4 through 7. So basically what you're telling me is that you think you have too lack of depth at running back 4. You need to get rid of your wide receiver 3, which vaults Mooney up to wide receiver 3, Sutton to 4, Watson, Kirk. I feel like Tank is a little much. I feel like Tank's a little much to be trading for Justice Hill, especially with Keaton Mitchell coming back this week, or getting acclimated this week. They love Justice Hill. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if I want to get rid of a Tank Dell right now for that. I also think Tyler Goodson's more likely to get some of those extra carries after Jonathan Taylor than is a Trey Sermon going forward. It just shows more juice. And Kendre, you saw last week, 6 carries, average 6 yards per. I think Kendre's sitting himself in just a fine spot. All right. I'm not going to do that move. I'm not making that move. Bo Murphy, Packers. Should I start James Cook, Jonathan Taylor, or Javonte Williams for running back? So we've already talked about Jonathan Taylor quite a bit. Javonte Williams has been on a tear the last month, it feels like. Not like a colossal tear, but he's been on a tear for his personal growth in this backfield. I think he's going to continue that today with the number 1 matchup in all of fantasy football, the Carolina Panthers run defense, baby. We got to play some Javonte Williams. Sign me all the effing way up for Javonte Williams today over Taylor and Cook. All right, wrap it here. Grant Whitcraft, need 1.5 PPR. Brian Robinson, Rashad White, Xavier Worthy, or Debo. As always, thanks for being a real dog. Brian Robinson, Rashad White, Xavier Worthy, or Debo Samuel. All right, this is when I got to do a little bit of look on here. So, Brian, I think I prefer Rashad. Brian and Rashad are back-to-back here. Brian's got him on. Gosh. I think I'm going to take Brian in that situation. We go Brian, Exo, Rashad. We got Worthy, Debo. You need 1.5. So I'm leading Brian there. Worthy, I don't really love today. And then Debo, who we just talked about a minute ago. So it's between Debo and Brian Robinson for me today. And I'm going to go ahead and ride with the guy that I believe is going to mean more to the offense, which is Brian Robinson by a touch. So we're going to go Brian Robinson over Debo here. Grant Whitcraft. I had it up. I don't know why I took it down, but I had it up right there. Grant Whitcraft. Appreciate you. Kip C. Or there's always taking Javonte plus wide receiver to upgrade that running back. I like Javonte. I like Javonte. Kyle Bannigan, Baker or A-Rich. Baker or A-Rich at the top of the food chain today. I think Baker takes a little bit of a hit, and y'all know I'm not going to be behind A-Rich right now until he gets his passing game worked. He's only averaging 39 rushing yards per game right now. It's not like he's averaging 60 or anything like Lamar. So I got him actually down at quarterback 17. Baker's actually right there at 18. So I'm going to roll with Richardson today by just a nip. Dan B2387. Jade Daniels looks like he's on the track to play, but still nervous about the ribs and tough matchup. Should I stick with Tua for just this week? Implied point total for Miami is 25.25. I would roll with Tua today over Jaden Daniels. Yes, I agree with that 100%. Preston B, if Higgins doesn't play, should I slot in Olave, James Conner, or pick up and play Tank Bigsby? I don't have a problem. I don't have any problem. I don't have any problem playing James Conner today at all. I think you're just fine doing that. Tank is a couple spots, and what he's like 8 spots lower for us. Connor's got a top 10 matchup against Miami. I think you're good playing Connor. Roll with it. Roll with it, Preston. Best of luck today, brother. Jason Ortiz, start 1. Pollard, Pittman, and Jalen McMillan. I'm playing Pollard. Pittman's got that Houston defense pass. Jalen McMillan, I don't think is due for as big a workload as people expect in Tampa. It's not a great matchup. I assume he's going to get the alpha coverage against Terrell. So I'm a little bit fading on the whole picking a wide receiver here for Tampa. If I was going to pick one, like I said, it's going to be odd. Jason Ortiz, give me Pollard. Second question from Jason Ortiz. He says, Sutton, Pittman, McMillan, Wandale, Robinson. This is going to sound putrid, and I know, but you have him on your roster, so I think you understand this. I actually like Wandale Robinson. The guy's averaging almost 10 targets a game. It's very tough to just be like, well, these guys fourth in the NFL in targets right now, pass. I'm not doing that. I'm playing him. When you got these other situations where Sutton can get blanked, Pittman can get blanked, Jalen McMillan, we don't know what the role is. Just give me Wandale. Give me the guy that I know what I'm getting every week. Ryan Allen, half PPR, Ramondre, Olave, Bucky. I think I answered this one, Olave, already. Ryan, I said Olave here. Appreciate you. Let me scroll down, see if we got any supers. Looks like we are in the CLEAR clear. Oh, no, we got one. Stephen Drakes. Sorry, I missed this one a couple minutes ago here. $5. Stephen Drakes. He says, good morning. Need 2.5 PPR. Mason Achan Hunt. Mason Achan Hunt. How can anybody go against Hunt right now? I understand the question, obviously. It's why I'm responding to it. But how can anybody? It's kind of wild times that we get a Kareem Hunt averaging 22.67 touches per game right now. Number one, not number 2, number 1 in the NFL right now as far as touches per game goes at the running back position. So hard to hate on Kareem when he's got a top 5 matchup right now. At the running back position. You also got Mason and Achan you're bringing up here. Mason has a top 5 matchup. He's got the number 2 matchup against Dallas. We talked about that one before. And then you also have Achan with a solid matchup against Arizona. Need 2.5. Well, Hunt is 100%er for me. I'm 100% playing Hunt. The other one comes down to Mason or Achan. I would say this. If you feel that your matchup is more of a if let's say your projected matchup is like a 5-point win or 5-point loss, I might ride more with Mason in that type of a situation. Whether if I'm projected to lose by maybe 15 or 20, if I'm undermanned in this game, I'd probably play Achan and just trying to bet on that upside play. And because I do think the speed coming back, not really speed coming back as much as the quarterback of the speed coming back, being able to stretch the defense out a little bit more is going to open up those gaps and allow for an Achan potential to burst through and go 70 for you. I think that upside is there in this one over playing Jordan Mason. So if you're projected to lose by a bit, your team's 2-5, whatever have you, I think I would lean towards the Achan route, but definitely playing Kareem Hunt today, 100% right there. Stephen Drakes, appreciate you tapping in. No more supers. Let me scroll back up to where we were before. See if we can get the wheels back on this ride. Golly, you guys have been crushing it today. All right. I do got to get out of here, though, in a couple minutes. So I'm going to speed as fast as I can through here. Full PPR, Fayakara Mooney. Full PPR, 2-point Bigsby, McMillan, or Flowers. Give me Bigsby and McMillan. Go Gin. Morning, Cody. Start Hopkins over DeMario. I think that's much closer than before. And I think that the potential of a couple red zone targets for Hopkins does lead me to him over DeMario today. Yeah, I feel good about Hopkins over Demario today. Appreciate you, go Jim. Best of luck, Big Meech. Do you generally consider Brian Thomas a must start rest of season? Yes, 100%. I don't see how Christian Kirk isn't traded. Like Christian Kirk has been a zero. It seems like I know he's averaging 6 targets per game on the season, but he just feels like a zero to this point. He a year ago and 2 years ago he was the focal point with Evan Ingram, and now it's the focal point being Brian Thomas Jr. And it's weird because he doesn't run but 3 routes. Corner, post, and 9. Like that's it. Occasionally he'll run a slant and stuff, but that's it. And it's we talk about under development, but the thing that I guess you can't do math on under development is extreme explosiveness. Like the guy's a 4'4", 6'4", 210-pound freak. Like that's something you can't measure into development. Doesn't matter when you can run past everybody. Doesn't matter. So you kind of just have to play Brian Thomas and get what you're given. Jonathan Epstein, half point Chase Brown or Devonta Smith. That's an interesting one. Devonta Smith or Chase Brown. Chase Brown, it's been like a ship in the night, him passing Zach Moss as far as opportunities go. I think he's north of 64% right now in snap share for the Cincinnati Bengals. Not exactly a backfield I love to play any parts of, but Cincinnati has been scoring points. You also brought up Devonta Smith at the wide receiver position. Devonta Smith today for us is right there at wide receiver 22. Last couple weeks have not been great playing alongside A.J. Brown, but I do believe today will be a better day. We'll go Devonta Smith today over Chase Brown. Go Jin back again. Pollard or Jaden Reed? Give me Jaden Reed. Apply literature. I probably missed it, but are we confident in Jaden if he starts? I've talked about it a couple of times. I'm not the most confident. I think in most situations you're better off. You're better off with a Kyler. I think you're better off with a Tua. The big worry here, and I brought it up, was the quarterback mostly when you're a rookie and you get banged up. And then they go, well, he'll be back. He'll be fine. Like it's a rib injury. Like we saw the Quinn Ewers at Texas didn't have a rib injury. He had an oblique injury, but it's treated the same when you're a quarterback. You're using a lot of torque in your midsection to throw the football. It can't feel great, first off. And secondly, the guy's 190 pounds wet. He gets hit in this game by the Chicago defense. It ain't going to feel good. And I just am worried that potentially we get a lack of running output. We potentially don't get as accurate a Jaden Daniels as we're used to. And I don't want to say he's going to play scared because he's not going to play scared, but he plays a little hesitant. I just don't want to worry about that today. And again, like I said, if he beats me for 30 today, I will gladly take it because I love me some Jaden Daniels. But I will feel much more confident playing a Tua, a Kyler, even an Anthony Richardson today. And you guys know I'm a little low on A-Rich at the moment. Devin Richardson, that was part of your super chat. We got that one answered. BCom, half PPR flex, Richard White. That's not a guy. Rashad White. Dobbs or Chubb. Give me Dobbs here in half. BCom. Appreciate you. Renorka, Dowdle versus at San Fran. Tillman against Baltimore. Adunze against Washington, or Braylon Allen against New England. I'm not playing Braylon Allen. I like the prop of 24.5 rush plus receiving, but I'm not playing Braylon Allen in fantasy football today. No can do. Adunze against Washington. Tillman against Baltimore, Dowdle against San Fran are the options today. The odd thing is that Tillman's kind of the one that pops off to you and is kind of the one that you want to play. Both at Tillman and Adunze are back-to-back in our rankings way down at the bottom, 50 and 51st overall, but they both have top 10 matchups today. Of course, obvious reasons. There's other weaponry in their offenses, whether it's Njoku and Judy for Tillman or whether it's Keenan Allen and Kmet and DJ Moore for Adunze. So I'm a little more hesitant on those guys, whereas Dowdle seems like he's fully past Zeke at this point. Feels like he's more efficient than Zeke. I do worry a touch coming off of the bye. McCarthy's great off the bye. He's 12-3 in his career, 3-1 as the Dallas Cowboys coach. I think they do the right thing here and play more Dowdle, but they also activated Dalvin Cook. So I'll be interested to see what this situation in Dallas looks like. I think I'm just going to go with the touches here, though, and the touches lead me to Dowdle. So tough situation, Renorka. Best of luck. Give me Dowdle. Furman Sanchez, Alexander Madison, Tyron Tracy, Devin Singletary need one PPR. Give me Madison, the starting running back for the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, Dre. He says, hey, Cody, pick 2, half-point PPR, Bateman, Tolbert, Pop Dougie, said Tillman, or Christian Watson. Give me Rashad Bateman with a banged-up Zay, and give me Tolbert off the bye for the Dallas Cowboys over Pop, Tillman, and Watson. Dre, best of luck today. Big Meech, shaking my head. Debo blocking the GOAT. Appreciate you, dude. I mean, I don't even know what I did. You can literally look up I've never once tweeted about Debo. And I went to, I think like somebody said, oh, did you see what Debo put out there? And I go, no, I didn't. I just go look up Debo. And I go to this page and it's like, you've been blocked by 19 problems. And I was like, what the fuck? I literally didn't do anything. Not my problem, though. Soft ass boy. Michael Rasmussen, J.K. Dobbins, or Achan. Half PPR. J.K. Dobbins or Achan. And no, Debo, you're not a soft ass boy. J.K. Dobbins or Achan. Back-to-back in the rankings this week. J.K. Dobbins has the better matchup and consensus across the board for everybody except for Alex. We have Dobbins ahead of Achan. He has Achan ahead of Dobbins by 2 spots. I lean and continue to lean towards Dobbins in this situation. Rasmussen, best of luck to you today. Turkey Sub, what's up, brother? PPR, start Keenan Allen, Monty, or Higgins. Game time decision at flex. Give me Montgomery today, up there in that 11-point favorite against the Tennessee Titans. Dan, B2387, got to pick 2, half PPR. T. Higgins, quad going to hold up. Tank Bigsby, Tucker Kraft, or said Tilly for the Browns. I'll be honest with you, I feel best in this whole situation about Tucker Kraft today, which is weird. But I'm going to go with Tank. When does the kickoff for Cincinnati? Is that at 4? No, it's a noon game. What's a 1 p.m.er? Tank is also a 1 p.m.er. Kraft is also a 1 p.m.er. And said is a 1 p.m.er. So I guess there's your answer. If Higgins plays, we'll go Higgins and Tank. If Higgins is inactive, we'll go Tank and Tillman. Like I said, I feel good about Kraft, but it's tough to play a tight end over both of those guys. All right, we'll roll with that. Kip C, I feel the Niners are going to try to prove something today. Plus, gusting winds and rain in Seattle today. Allen versus bad weather usually is a bad outcome. It's a good point. If there's rain in Seattle, that could definitely deter some things for Buffalo and make Allen run the ball a bit more. Chad, Big Cheddar, what's up, brother? Full BBR, 2 of 3. Achan, Jacobs, Javonte. Give me Javonte, and I think I got Jacobs. Incorrect. I don't have Jacobs. I have Achan by 1 spot. Achan and Javonte. Big Meech, what's going on, brother? He says Ingram or Tucker Kraft. Ingram or Tucker Kraft. So Tucker Kraft is the number 2 matchup this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Evan Ingram, I have a few spots higher at tight end 5. He's the number 10 matchup this week against the Packers. I was going to say there's a gap here, but I think the gap is built in because of the other guys' rankings. I have these guys 7 and 9 overall. I have Ingram 7, Kraft 9. So I'm going to go ahead and write Ingram here. Big Meech, appreciate you. George, Chase Brown, or Olave. Give me Olave. JB, pick 2 PPR, 1 running back spot, and 1 super flex. Daniels, Richardson, Kamara, Hunt. You don't want to know my answer to this, but I kind of want to go Kamara, Hunt, but my actual answer is going to be Richardson and Hunt. Richardson and Hunt, JB. Best of luck, brother. George, banged up Jaden versus Murray. Give me Murray. Michael Rasmussen, do you think Tampa Bay will put McMillan in Godwin's role? I think they should, but I think he plays a little bit more outside as well. A lot during training camp was him outside, switching spots with Palmer. We know McMillan can play inside, but the player we've seen most inside is Sterling Shepard. So I do think we see a bit of Sterling Shepard, which I don't think can play outside. So I do think we end up getting more Sterling Shepard in that Godwin role than anything. Pablo says pick 2 full PPR, Olave, JSN, James Conner, or Javonte. Pick 2, give me JSN and Javonte. That's a layup for me. Love both those guys today, JSN and Javonte. That JSN prop is 5.5 receptions over on Underdog Fantasy today. Kyle Ellis, PPR, start 2, Bigsby, Flowers, T, Brian Robinson, or Lockett. I think the big thing is if our guy T is active today, I know included here we do have some afternoon situations. I like Brian Robinson and Bigsby at the top of this thing, but I know that the Robinson thing's afternoon. T. Higgins is early. So we're going to know the T. Higgins thing early. If he's active, we're playing T and then probably B-Rob. If he's inactive at the high noon, we'll play Bigsby and B-Rob. That's where I'm leaning here, Kyle. Appreciate you. Pablo Garcia, should I sit Debo for Olave or JSN? I feel better about JSN. I would play JSN. I would. John in Cedar Park, I got one more. I don't want to sit Neighbors, but do I play him over Achane, Dobbins, or Kamara? Yes, you do. You play Neighbors every week. You remember from the preseason? Always Neighbors. Never not Neighbors. All preseason. We got another super chat here from Omar. Hey, Cody, need two between Marvin Harrison Jr., Olave, or your boy Romeo. Full PPR 10-point bonus at a hundo. Receiving yards. Thanks all. Love all the content. Appreciate you, Omar. You're a real one. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate you jumping in here. Romeo, Olave, or Marv, you get a 100-point bonus. Need two between the three. So Marv, Olave, and Rome. I'll be honest with you. The player that I feel best about that 100-yard bonus on today, and there's, again, no bias. Again, y'all know I from day one didn't love Rome, but I've come around and I respect Rome and I like the game. Rome is 100% the one I feel best about today as far as this 100-yard marker goes. You get the number one matchup on the RosterWatch matchup tool. Olave's got a bottom 4 matchup. Harrison's got a bottom 2 matchup. Funny enough, these three guys you just listed off, Omar, back to back to back in the RosterWatch wide receiver rankings this week. The big tell, like we've talked about before, is Olave with the model nuking him down to this tier. He should be a tier ahead if the model didn't hate him so much for some ungodly reason. I can't really do the math other than maybe Spencer Rattler, maybe the tough matchup, maybe the lack of targets. Is that enough for you? I think we're going to go Marvin Harrison and Romeo today. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Romeo. Omar, appreciate you and love you for the support. Thank you. All right. I got 6 minutes. 6 minutes is my ticker. We got to go to brunch. I got to get my ass out of my chair. I am about done. I got to scroll up and find where I got left off here. I think it was John in Cedar Park right here. All right, so we got 30 minutes to catch up. All right, we're going rapid fire for the next 5 minutes, and then I'm out of here. Juan Pena, should I be worried for Kittle's foot, or should I pick up Komet, Hunter Henry, Zach Ertz, Fant, or Freiermuth off of the waivers? I don't think you should worry about Kittle's foot. If he's playing, I think he's playing. So you just kind of got to play a guy like that. He's the model of consistency when he's in. Nick L, 1 PPR, need 1. Lockett, Dobbs, Keenan Allen. Thanks, and keep up the great weekly show. Nick, appreciate you always for the nice compliments. Dobbs is the answer here for me. Juan Pena, who is my wide receiver 2 and flex? DJ Moore, Alexander Madison, Wan'Dale Robinson, Rashad Bateman, Jacoby Myers, Travis Etienne, Josh Downs, or Ken Walker? Who's my wide receiver 2 and flex? Ken Walker is a must. He's our running back 5 on the week. So he has to be your flex. And your wide receiver 2 either has to be DJ or Rashad. And I believe I have DJ. Let me double check this thing. Yeah, it's DJ. Yep. DJ Moore, wide receiver 2, Kenneth Walker, flex. We already answered that one. That was the super chat. Juan Pena, which defense? Ravens, Texans, Bears, Commanders. You just got the whole goddamn list of defenses out here, Pena? What are we doing here, brother? Ravens, Texans, Bears, Commanders, Giants, Dolphins, or Cardinals? Commanders, Bears play each other. Texans play the Colts. Ravens. Ravens got Jameis, though. Giants get Russ. You know what, dude? Just play the Ravens. What are we doing? Just play I mean, I'm not even going to trip on this Jameis thing. He might score 25 points, but, dude, he might throw 3 picks. Give me the picks. What are we doing? Give me that. Pena, let's go with the Ravens. Come on. Jedi Genetics. I can't read for shit today. HN or Devontae Adams. Give me Adams for the floor, HN for the ceiling, depending on what you need. Like we talked about before, this is one of those weird situations where I think I'd prefer Adams for the floor. If you're in a tight matchup, you need the points. You know you need the points. Give me Adams. If you need upside, you need a big boom, a big 35-40, potentially play HN. And you might get a 10, but you might get a 40. Adams, I think you're pretty confident you're going to get a 20 this week. Week 2 with Rodgers against the Pats. I feel good about it. Nicholas, trade D-Hop for Mason? No. You're the CMC owner? Nah, dude. Mason's giving you what he's going to give you. You're getting CMC back in week 10. I mean, I think you just roll with D-Hop, be fine. Juan, start Kenneth Walker at flex. Yes. I think you were telling Pena. Yes, 100%. Nick, sit one, half PPR, HN, Dobbins, Debo, Tyreek Hill. Dude, sit one. It's between Dobbins and Debo. I think I'm going to say Dobbins. Grant, half PPR, Flowers, Bateman, Hopkins, Chase Brown, Tillman. Need one. Give me Bateman, brother. Give me Bateman. Adam Stoddard, should I bench either of Hunt or Dobbins for Bigsby? No. John McGrath, Caleb or Tua? Tua. Also, would you start both Hill and Waddle? Amari and MHJ are currently in my lineup. I would play Hill and MHJ. If you really want to get nasty, you could do Tua. You could just run the trifecta. And if they score 45 on Arizona, which we know is possible because if we talk about the bipolarism of the freaking Cardinals this year, they could drop 45 in the Cardinals and Waddle and Hill could each have 2 tuggies. I don't know. I just talked myself into it. What about you? Gil Munzo, PPR assuming DK out, Daniels in. Fant, Ertz, Palmer, need one for my second flex. Probably gonna play the receiver here. There's upside with Palmer if they shoot the shot. If Baker's gonna put some balls downfield, play Palmer. Jordan C, full PPR start to Ramondre, Chubb, Tracy McMillan. I think this place you can play McMillan here. Jordan C. GB Revival, Downs or Pearsall. Give me Pearsall. Chase Brown or Lad McConkey. Give me Chase Brown. Big Meech, JT or Kamara. Give me Kamara. Bob Watson, half PPR, wide receiver 4, Bateman, Wandale Robinson, Ridley. The disgusting garbage Kirk. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Bateman for me, wide receiver 4. Bateman, wide receiver 4. We got some crap getting in here. I got to block these fake accounts. Wandale or Ridley? Wandale. Again, top 5 in the NFL in targets right now per game. Mooney or Dell Johnson Robinson? Give me Mooney. Timothy Beard, Purdy versus Cowboys or Caleb versus Commanders? Give me the Caleb versus the Commanders. Harry Snowman, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you. Smash that like button. Show some love. Appreciate you, brother. Brendan 40, Dobbs or Tank Dell in full PPR? Give me Dobbs. Get another count to block in here. God, I hate these. Gammon 8, who to start at flex? Hubbard, Mooney, Olave, Robinson. I'm assuming Brian and Kelsey. You really gonna bench Kelsey, dog? Come on, put Kelsey in your flex. I mean, why isn't he starting tight end? You're that loaded. This one next. What did I miss? This one next. You put arrows up. I think I got it. I'm going Kelsey. Hey Cisco. Should I start Rashad White at flex or Brian Thomas and Terry McLaurin? I have DJ as wide receiver 2 and Lamb at wide receiver 1. No. Play Brian Thomas. Hope you're having a good morning, Cody. Snowman, I'm doing great. I appreciate you jumping on in here, brother. I hope you are having a fantastic weekend as well. Jack Stacks, PPR, do I start Brian Robinson or McLaurin? Should I fade both and start Bateman? I like the Bateman angle here. Kills, Gruel, Henry, Ferguson, or Taysom Hill. Ferguson in half secured me the dub last week. Thank you. I like Ferguson here this week, brother. I like Ferguson. They got to get Ferguson back in coming off the bye. Kyle Gregory, Javonte over Neighbors is too much? Question mark. I don't think it's too much. Actually, there's like one of the few spots you maybe can explain yourself playing somebody over Neighbors is the number one situation for all running backs and a guy who's getting more and more opportunities by the week and looking better and better for a Broncos team that's gotten very hot, I would say, the last month. They lost by 7 to the Chargers, but they've won 4 of their last 5. They got the juiciest matchup of all time against the Panthers at home. I like me some Javonte. Let's play Javonte over Neighbors today. I like that call. I like that call a lot. Ben Schuler, Hubbard or Pollard? Hubbard or Pollard? Give me Pollard. Matt D. Connor, BTJ, or Wilson. I'm assuming that's Garrett Wilson, and for that reason, I'm going to go Brian Thomas Jr. by a touch. Brian Thomas Jr. by a touch. Kelsey or Ingram? Give me Kelsey. Kyler or Purdy? Give me Kyler. Not the streaming thing. Take that down. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there, folks. We're almost to the bottom of the feed. Please don't drop any more comments. I got to get out of here. Please don't drop any more. Please. I appreciate y'all, but I love y'all. Next week I'll give you 2 hours. How about that? Next week I'll give you 2 hours on Sunday. I'll pop in earlier. I'll go from 9 to 11. That's a promise. I'm writing it down right now. 9 to 11, but y'all got to stop commenting for right now. All right. Half ABR, need one flex. JSN, Mooney, Hopkins, or Worthy. Need one. Ooh, I got JSN here, though. JSN, then Mooney, then Worthy, then Hopkins this week. Give me JSN. Applied Literature, appreciate you, brother. Always appreciate you tapping in here on this beautiful morning. Here's a weird question. PPR, Superflex, Mason or Javonte over Jameis? Yeah, Javonte. And Mason? I can get behind it. I can get behind it, but I think if I'm personally starting, I'm starting Javonte over Jameis. All right, Jordan Mason has value in 2025 for keeper. I think he has value. Of course he does. I mean, look what happened. You're getting 10 weeks out of the guy, 100%. All right, a couple more picks here from Alex on the Underdog stuff. Javonte Williams higher than 63.5 rushing yards. Derrick Henry higher than 19.5 longest rush. Marvin Harrison Jr. lower than 19.5 longest reception. Devon Vele higher than 24.5 receiving yards. And Joe Mixon higher than 78.5 rushing yards. Again, that's over at UnderdogFantasy.com today. Use that promo code ROSTER. Get a deposit bonus of 50% up to $250. Going over to UnderdogFantasy.com today. You can get all 16 of those picks over at RosterWatch.com right now. You can also get your start-sit questions answered for the next 2.5 hours over at RosterWatch.com. Go over there, and Trashman Alex and Byron will answer those questions for you. I might pop in, but I might not because I'm going to go get some food here in about 5 minutes ago when I was supposed to get off of this call. Senor Rojo. Let's finish this thing up strong. I need 2 in the flex PPR. Chase Brown, Worthy, Pearsall, Keon. I don't like the rain for Keon, so I'm going to go Chase and Pearsall. If I knew the weather was going to be good up in Buffalo, I think I'd go Keon here and Pearsall, but I'm going to go Chase and Pearsall. Good question, Senor Rojo. Footy University. Need a flex for this week. I have ETN, Downs, Mostert, Sterling, Shep. Who do you think I should start? My rankings would tell you it's Sterling Shepard, and my gut would tell me it's Mostert, but I don't feel good about Mostert in this Miami thing. I talked about HM before. We've only seen Mostert play a handful of games this year for being banged up. Downs, the Richardson thing has merit, but Richardson hasn't been accurate all year. So Bo Nix or Jaden Daniels if he plays. Give me Bo. Dutch, full point PPR, Dobbs, Allen, Mooney. Dobbs, we've answered that one before. Are we starting Jonathan Taylor against the Texans coming off injury? If we don't have to, we won't because we don't really want to. He averaged 3 yards per carry in week 1. He's back, but Houston is also back and mad after a Green Bay loss last week. Tua or Kyler? So this is the question. It was Kyler or Jaden Daniels. It was Tua or Jaden Daniels. Now it's Tua or Kyler. Tua or Kyler. Consensus this week at RosterWatch, the quarterback rankings will tell you that Kyler is currently sitting as our quarterback 14. Tua, quarterback 10. We like Tua more than Kyler. Guillotine League, PPR, pick 2. Javonte, James Cook, or Taylor. Javonte for sure. And then it's between James Cook and Taylor for me. And I kind of lean James Cook. I'm kind of leaning James Cook. So I'll go James Cook and Javonte. JK, Dobbs or Reed in my flex. I got to go Reed here. I love Dobbs, but I got to go Reed here. Kip C, let's get it done today. Good luck to the nation. Roster Watch Nation, we are a nation. Smash that Isaiah Likely button. The way out. Appreciate you. Siobhan, Thoughts on Coleman's matchup? I have him in my wide receiver 2 this week. Juju's out. Devonta Smith is my wide receiver, and Jacoby Myers is questionable, likely to play 10 team. I just kind of just said it a second ago. I would feel better if the rain wasn't there, but in your situation, you just have to play him. It is what it is. I'd probably play Coleman over Jacoby Myers anyway. Best of luck, Siobhan. Jay, should I start Mason, Smith and Jigba, or DJ Moore / White? I like Smith and Jigba and Mason here. I do. Thoughts on Devonta Smith's matchup today? I need a bounce. I think everybody needs a bounce back, brother. I think everybody needs a bounce back. We need the old Devonta Smith. We need the Slim Reaper to show his head today in a big way. Keith Chief, great name. Full PBR, Purdy or Knicks? Give me Purdy. All right, last few questions here. Marvin Harrison or Darnell Mooney? Give me Marvin Harrison Jr. 4th and shorts. Salim. Oh, boy. Salim, half PPR. Flex, Dowdle, Dell, McMillan. This is a prime Dowdle spot. Thanks for the advice, Salim. Appreciate you tapping in. This is the prime Dowdle spot coming off of a bye. They're activating Dalvin Cook. They're not happy with Zeke. They're not really happy with anybody in this backfield, but Dowdle's got the freshest legs. He's coming off a bye. Let's ride with Dowdle. Epic fail. Bo Nix versus May versus A-Rich versus Russ. To be honest with you, I feel best about Russ here, but Richardson's the highest ranked. That's what it is. I feel best about Russ, but Richardson's the highest ranked. So you got to play Rich. Last question. Dell or Waddle? I believe that's Dell for, let's see here. I think that's Dell by like a couple spots. Dell by 3 spots for me. Both have top 12 matchups. It's a good day to be great, Salim. Either one's going to be just fine. Infamous 39. Pittman, Chase Brown, or Otten? Flex half PPR. Chase Brown. Reed or Connor? David Litovsky says. Reed or Connor? Give me Connor. Thank you. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Good morning. Do I start running back or flex? I have Barkley and Henry starting running back. Devonta Smith and London starting wide receiver. That leaves Mason, Moss, and Bigsby, Pickens, and Olave for potential flex. I would start Pickens in your flex. Mario, Dobbs, or Worthy? Please pick 2. Dobbins, Rashad White, Pollard. Well, you just listed 5 names off, but you put 2 and then a question mark. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that means Dobbs or Worthy. I'm going to go Dobbs, and then of the remaining, I'm going to go Pollard and Dobbins. Salim, cheers, brother. Appreciate you. Last question belongs to KJ Frederick. Better full PBR flex start today, Monty or Javonte? What's been the theme of the show, brother? The best matchup in fantasy football today belongs to none other than the one and only Javonte Williams against the Carolina Panthers. I appreciate you. I love you. Click that like button. Click subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow for RosterWatch Nation. Go over to rosterwatch.com to get your questions answered from here until 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. We love you. We appreciate you, and we're thankful for you. We'll see you next time.
This is Anthony Richardson, and you're listening to Roster Watch.